all right, next.
Yeah,
and we disagree.
We're this is a serious conversation here. I'm going to try. There is a bit of a conversation going on in the outside chat about Shabbos and whether someone should study Torah on Shabbos, or whether or not studying is considered work, and if you work, it's considered a violation. What would you say to that, Rav? Can you make sense of that?
If studying Torah is going to rile you up in terms of studying Gemara, you're not allowed to study Gemara on Shabbat.
Rile you up? What do you mean by that? Get you going?
Some people like to argue, and it frustrates them to learn Talmud with other people. So the rabbis say that type of person is exempt from learning Torah on Shabbat. Hearing the Parsha being read is one thing. We're talking about learning Torah, like a back and forth with the Chavruta. If, for some reason, it's like splitting hairs every time you're learning Torah, and we see this in yeshivas, that people start arguing back and forth, and some people get very animated, then that person is exempt. It depends. With the average person who wants to read a book on Musar, not that necessarily qualifies for studying Torah, or even Mishnah Torah, it's fine. If it's not uncomfortable for you to do it, if you're not going to get angry and go through all the motions that people do in yeshivot and in kolos, then it's not allowed if it's going to get you all hyped up.
We're trying to serious questions, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for this is serious business. I'm waiting for new comments, actual questions to come in. But Saul said a statement. He doesn't feel like it's he feels like people think he's Jewish, but he doesn't like that. Is that wrong for someone who's wants to convert, in the process of converting, for people to feel icky about people actually thinking they're 100% Jewish when they're not?
I don't understand the question.
You're converting, you want to convert, you dress like a Jew, you look like a Jew, and people just assume that you're Jewish already.
Well, if they see you in the synagogue, of course they're going to assume you're Jewish.
But he says it seems like it's wrong to him. That
Well, that's the problem of making people go through a 2-year conversion program. When conversions took a day, it wasn't an issue. So now the question arises, what do you do with someone who hangs around a synagogue? They constantly accidentally count them in a minyan. They'll ask them, why aren't you putting on tefillin? They'll try to put tefillin on them. They'll tell you, put on a talis, and you have to explain, I'm converting, I'm not Jewish. And that gets old. Clearly, it's frustrating. If that's what he means, that it's frustrating, I can sympathize. It's also not correct to look overly Jewish if you're not Jewish, just because you may not know the laws well enough. So, if you're wearing a black hat and a long beard, and I don't know, but you're driving to shul and they see you on McDonald's, then that you're going to make Jews look bad, and you're going to make Jews think that what you're doing is kosher, right? I mean, some Jew who doesn't know much will be like, oh, I guess they just made McDonald's kosher because I see Bob over there eating a Big Mac with the Borsalino on.
We have a Facebook question. What about Yemenite Judaism? They seem pretty laid back, chill.
There's 2 major streams of Yemenite Judaism. I guess there's 3. There's Shami and there's Baladi. And then there's Yemenite Jews in Israel that basically do what Ashkenazim and regular Sephardim people do. Those are the ones you see with the black hats and just kind of not sticking to any tradition. But I would say that the more laid back ones are the ones who go by the Rambam, which are Baladim. They're the ones who never really accepted the Zohar, and they don't have that much mysticism in their belief system, which limits all the laws they feel bound to keep, all the new made-up laws that they don't keep. While the Shami Jews are Yemenite Jews of the north that were exposed to works like the Zohar and other Mizrahi Sephardi ideas, which made them more outwardly observant. It got them to keep more things that weren't necessary to be kept, at least according to the Talmud. Not all Yemenites nowadays are laid back.
Natan, you have a question for the Rav?
Yeah, I had a question because I kind of came into this. I know a lot of people that convert are from another religion, and I was non-religious, agnostic, whatever. But how are heavily tattooed people looked at in the Orthodox world?
You can convert with tattoos.
At the Shabbos table, how's everybody sitting around for the new guy in the community?
I don't see too many rabbis giving you their daughters to marry. That's one.
I'm already married, so it's beautiful. I don't have to worry about it.
Well, I'll tell you, they're going to be scared of you. That's just the way it is. They're going to be scared of you till they get to know you. People in the Orthodox world like people who look clean cut. That's just the way it is. And it's because it's run by a bunch of old people. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. They want you to look,
because even when you look nice, you just look like a damn gangster. You know, I always wearing a Rolex and a suit. Always, it's crooked. You know.
What type of tattoos do you have in particular? You have like crosses and JC and everything like that on you? Or?
What, are you kidding me? I grew up hating Christians.
Baruch Hashem.
No, no, they're all right. They're okay. They're good people. They're just in error. But no, I have my knuckles are tattooed. I have a big like skull and turn into a rose on my neck. My hands tattooed, both sleeves.
So were you like a white nationalist, white supremacist or something?
No, it's how I made my money. I was a tattoo artist. I own a tattoo shop.
Most people with tattoos are not white nationalists, John.
Yeah. No,
well, he said skull. He said skull. He said a skull.
Skull. That doesn't mean anything.
I used to like ride motorcycles, but not.
I also ride motorcycles.
Yeah. I talked to you once. You told me you got a nice warehouse.
I collect bikes.
Yeah. I'd like to see that when you come in August. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
for sure.
But
no, so it's pretty much intimidation is from everybody.
All right, Beverly, you got a question? You got your hand raised? What's going on, brother? Sister?
Hey.
I called you brother there. I apologize. What's going on?
Okay.
Sister.
Well, we've recently converted and we have, friends who are wanting to convert and they're, talking about not trying to be overly Jewish. One of the ladies earlier was talking about how people convert, but I think that when you do that, you just want to get things right. And I know one of the things that a lot of people I know are heavily into is making sure that everything they eat has nothing in it like pork-wise. Like they won't eat gummies or marshmallows. Is that how it goes in the Jewish communities? Is not eating gummies and not eating marshmallows, anything that have gelatin in them?
Yes and no. So according to Sephardic Jews, not all Sephardic Jews, but some Sephardic Jews, Jell-O is allowed, even though it has pork in it, because it's become a chemical. It's no longer pork. The halachic parameters of what makes something kosher or not is if it has a taste of the original substance. This is why even till today, Jell-O, the Jell-O brand, has a K on it because of that ruling. Now, there are types of kosher gelatin, I think made from fish, and those are the gummy bears that you'll find in the kosher stores. I mean, it's a problem when you don't live near a kosher market. Things that come from Israel, that you can get everything kosher. You can even get kosher bacon. I mean, it's called fake and bacon. It's not made from pork, but it tastes like pork. There is an opinion out there that gelatin is allowed, even though it's made from the bones of pigs.
And do you think that lines up with Torah?
It depends how you look at Torah. If you believe that the court makes a decision of what makes something kosher or not, if the law is don't eat pig, the only way you identify something as pig, unless you killed it yourself, is because of how it tastes. Then taste is everything. The rabbis determine that the way we know if something is unkosher or not is based on tam, on taste. So if it doesn't taste like the actual thing, in this case, those bones have gone through a chemical process that it doesn't taste like the pig. It's a texture they're going for. And this is how they reason it. I'm not saying it's allowed. I'm not saying it's not allowed. I'm saying that there's rabbis who allow it, right? But I see the reason. I mean, there's a reasoning behind it.
Yeah. I think, it's been quite some time since I've kind of studied that and not quite so harsh on the whole marshmallow and gelatin.
But you don't have to eat it. But I'm just saying, if for some reason you have this weird taiva to eat marshmallows, I don't know exactly how marshmallows are made, but in terms of gelatin, this is the argument made for gelatin. And this is why many Jell-O products, even in your local supermarket, will have a texture on it.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, we got Andrea. You got your hand raised again. You have something to add?
I just wanted to say a word of encouragement to the guy with tattoos. I know a very tattooed Baal Tshuva. He has issues getting married, but he was a tattoo artist as well. And then he became frum and stopped tattooing people because he was scared he was going to tattoo a Jew. But he's been, he's been very successful in the frum community. And I have tattoos as well, and I got converted. But I'm able to hide my tattoos. But you can make it with tattoos. I just wanted to just share that.
Could you be a frum Orthodox Jew and work a living doing tattoos?
Well, he went ahead and stopped because he became frum as soon as he learned the tattoos were not allowed. he actually tattooed for a while, and then he told me the whole story. Then he stopped because he said even if he started at first, he was asking people, "Are you Jewish?" And then he realized maybe somebody wouldn't know they were Jewish, and he would accidentally tattoo them. So then he stopped tattooing altogether. But he's covered in tattoos from head to toe. So, and he like I said, he can't seem to be able to get married, but he's very well like in the Orthodox world. You
Yeah,
know?
why would it be a problem for a from Orthodox Jew to sell pork or do tattoos or any other?
It is a problem because he could tattoo another Jew.
Okay, but it's their free choice to get tattoo.
No, but he's enabling their sin.
Yeah,
He's
you got it. Trust
hurting,
me.
he's
Thank you
helping them
for that, by
sin.
the way, too. Yeah, I quit too immediately. It's like you got to change profession. Once you realize that, that was years ago for me when I quit and been
That's
making
a big
shoe
deal to tattoo a Jew. That's a very, very bad error. You can ask Rabbi Usher. That's a big,
Right.
big deal.
Right. So the prohibition is not necessarily in getting a tattoo, but it's in tattooing someone else. That's the way I learned it. It technically shouldn't be allowed for Gentiles either. That we're dealing with the Torah commandment. Now, the Torah, to really bring down the halachas of what's prohibited regarding tattoos, from a Torah perspective, and the rabbis and the Talmud always make a distinction between the rabbinic and the Torah level. From a Torah level, the only prohibition is tattooing the Shem Hashem, God's name or the name of another God. Because that's what it says. It says, don't tattoo yourself for the dead. Necromancy and the dead was used as a form of avodah zarah. The rabbis extended that to include any ink on your body for any purpose. However, it shows that if someone does get a tattoo, they're not breaking a Torah commandment. Because the Torah doesn't say just don't get a tattoo, but don't get a tattoo as a form of avodah zarah. From a rabbinic perspective is where it's prohibited. Just for people to know that according to the Torah, it's not necessarily prohibited just to have a tattoo.
Well, I think, certain people said, like, maybe you should get your tattoos removed since you converted, but I heard it's even...
Right, so that's
there's
also
a prohibition
prohibited.
to get them removed as well.
Right.
So, like, they just said just leave them alone. Not that I would ever get them removed anyways, but, like, people said, like, there's a prohibition to get them removed, so don't get them removed. Just leave them alone. Because there's not a prohibition to have them. It's just a prohibition to get tattooed.
So some people say to get it removed before you convert, but after you convert, they consider the process of removal also a form of scarring and tattooing.
I've met people who right before they converted, they get like a tattoo right before they do it because they know they're allowed to do it. I've heard stories like that. They get a big tattoo of the Star of David or something, and they jump in the mikvah.
Yeah, that's a silly notion also.
Yourself miserable by tattooing yourself because people won't date you with tattoos.
Oh,
it's very hard in the Jewish world.
Well,
I'm anti-tattoo for sure. Absolutely.
We'll tell you, I found a wife. I got married, and she's a great woman. She's a doctor, and so tell him just Amuna.
Is she Jewish?
She's converting. Yeah. She's been living. I mean, she's
a convert. Non-Jews will marry you. I've been married before, but Jewish people, born Jews, they have this thing about tattoos. They really, I mean, unless they're tattooed.
Yeah. It's a thing. Maybe you can find. I don't know. Just don't look for it. Just sort of,
So my husband's family was from the Reform synagogues growing up, and he has a couple of tattoos. So maybe he can find one at the Reform synagogue and bring them over to the Orthodox one.
Well, they're probably find a Gentile converted. I'm too religious for them.
All right, next topic.
All right, we're gonna